So everything seems to be fine here. But before we continue, let's make the buttons that edit a little bit more obvious, because now I had to type in the URL here. So let me click on posts and let me make the edit button active there. So you can use some bootstrap there to make them look a bit neater. So let's go and see how we can do that. So on the posts.blade.php, where there are edit buttons here. So let's bring this down here a bit so that we can deal with it individually, like so. Let me move that here, move that there. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, so what I need is an A tag here, but first let me add a button so that it looks more buttony. Let's use a class here, button small, that's one, button itself, and then button success for green, the one that looks green. Okay, that should do it. And then let's move the edit button in there, the edit value in there, then we can remove that like so. Okay, so we have that button. Let's see how it look like. Alrighty then, edit, but let's add a in here, font awesome as usual. So I'll copy that I thingy over here, paste it here, and change that to edit. There should be something for edit here, so let's see. Okay, there we go, good enough for me. All right, so let's do the same thing for the delete button. So I'm just going to duplicate that and move the delete word into there like so. And for delete, I think the icon is trash, but there's an alternate trash, so trash alt like so. The trash can, refresh, and there we go, delete, but it doesn't seem like the trash can is there. So let's remove the alt and see if that works. Wow, doesn't work either. This must be a very old version of Bootstrap. Okay, so let's use the times value instead. That should do fine, I guess. Okay, that's good enough. And then instead of the success, let's use warning. That way we have the orange like that. Okay, so delete edit. Let's deal with the edit now. Let's add a link to the edit version. So a tag, and then let's put our link in there. I'm going to say URL, and yes, from there we're going to say posts/edit/ now there we have to add something. So I'll move out of the brackets, put a dot to concatenate, and then now I can add something from the row and say the ID, something like so. Then I can get the closing tag and put it right over here like that. That should be good. Yes, refresh, and let's try and edit this one. Click, not found. This is very strange. Public posts edit 1. Weren't we just here a moment ago? Oh, so there's something missing here. Admin. I'm getting old. Admin / like so. How could I forget that we're in the admin section? Yeah. Okay, back to posts, and let's click on this one right here. Let's say edit, and this is what we are editing. Back to posts and edit. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so far so good, but let's try and get our category, shall we? Right now we don't have that category, but we have the category ID, which is really what we need. So let me put that category. Where is this? Select. I'm completely lost here. I think that's because I'm in the wrong page. So I should be in the edit post blade. Okay. So right here where it says select a category, instead of that, we're going to add an existing one. So we're going to do that and put row like this and point to category ID underscore ID like so. Now, obviously the ID isn't ideal here. So what I want to actually do is put the ID over there like this. So ID, oh, sorry, value, that is. So in the value, we're putting the ID, but here we want to put something a human can understand, not these numbers. So refresh, and now we have 1 over there. That's the only existing category. But let's read from the database to find the actual category here. Okay. So let's go back to our admin here and create a relationship. So keep in mind that what we are retrieving here is a post class right there. So from there we can read a category from it. So it can be something like this. So here this is the row, but then I can say something like category. I jumped the gun over there. So what I meant to say was row category, and here, yeah, actually I was right. Category is equal to something like this. Okay, so the category row here, this is the row for the category, is going to be equal to row, which is a post class in this case, because that's what this returns actually. It doesn't return just a normal array, it returns an instance of the post class or whatever class you are reading from. And so we can run things like this. We can run a function from the returned result like this. That's why I guess they do it that way. Now we need to create this function that will bring us the category row, so we can put it in here. And then we can send this separately as well. The same way we are sending a row, we can send the category here. Just remove the $sign there and put category there. That way we can have access to the category as well on the blade template. But currently we don't have this function, so if we tried this, it's going to tell us unknown. I think it will say unknown something. Undefined method. Yeah, you don't say. Okay, so to create that method, let's go to the post model. Because we are running this on a post model, so we must go to the post model to create this function right here. So I'll copy that real quick. Let's go to models, and in the post model here, let's scroll down a little bit. Let's create a public function and call it category, because it's going to get us a category from the database. So what we want to do here is to call the category class, the model here, the category model, because this category model already knows how to get categories from the database, right? It knows what the database name is, the table, the database name, etc. So just by calling it, we can get it to bring us what we want. So we are creating this function that will do just that. So if you want to read more about creating relationships, go to the documentation and look for, it's called Eloquent Relationships, I think, but it's under Eloquent there. So let's return something here. We have to return a value according to the rules, and the rules say you have to write this like so, and then you say has many like that. Now this is because this is a one-to-many relationship. If it was a one-to-one, we can say has one something like this, but we have the has many like so. So all we have to do now is to put the class name that is responsible for retrieving the data that we want. In our case, it's the category class. So you can refer to it using the whole namespace. You need to include the namespace in it like so, and then you say category, because that's the name of the class itself. So this is a string, so we do that like this. Now if you don't want to do it like this, you can just remove all this like so, put category, double colon, and say class. It's the same thing. When you do this, you're just echoing the name of the class together with its namespace. So same thing, no difference at all. So just by saying this guy has many in the category section, that's enough. It's going to know what to do here. Okay, so great. Now if we come back to the admin controller, once we do this, we're going to have our category in there. So the first thing we should check for is any errors. So let's refresh and see if it's complaining, and it is not. So which means we have something good going on. So let's get category there and go to our, if I were to echo this out, yeah, you may not even understand what's in it because it's just a whole class of stuff. So first of all, what I want to show you is that the returned result here, a row, is not just an array like we normally have when we are returning results from the database, but it's an entire class. So I'm just going to echo out some pre-tags so we can see properly what's going on, and then I'm going to say print readable, and I want to print readable the row that we returned as a result, and I want to not display the view for now so that it doesn't interfere with the results that we are going to get from this echo. So I will refresh, and this is what you see. You see, this is not a normal row like a normal array, right? This is a post object that we get, not just a row. This, doing it this way, the reason it's done this way is to allow us to run functions on these results as well, just in case we want to do other things. The actual data is here inside these protected properties. Anyway, it's the same thing if I put the category here. The returned result is even bigger than the row because I think it contains even more stuff. Yeah, it contains a whole lot more. Look at this, right? You can see the scroll bar has really shrunk. So if I move down here, look at all that, you know, just from one item. Now imagine if you are reading 20 or 30 items from your database, 30 rows, each one of them containing all this. This is a lot of memory being used here. This is why I declined to use this method earlier. With one item like this, I think it's okay, because look at that, there's PDO objects in here. This is insane. Connections, it's crazy. Anyway, that's that. So let me remove this here like that. Okay, so we have our category here. So all we have to do is go to our blade. Where is this? Edit. Yes. And in the category, instead of giving it category ID here, we're going to give it category. Let's remove the ID because the category column is the one that contains the text. So that should give us the actual name. So, and surprise, surprise, it hasn't. So it's saying undefined property category. Okay, so it is complaining that this property is unknown.